My name is Josh Overholt, and I'm the Senior Technical Trainer here at the Viking Corporation. This is our double interlock pre-action system that uses vacuum technology. As you can see on the right-hand side, we have a vacuum pump instead of a traditional air compressor. And this vacuum pump is what we need to create the vacuum pressure in the system piping. Now, the piping, the trim piping that we see on the left-hand side is for valve setup and operations. And everything on the right-hand side is for the vacuum pump operation. So this particular system operates just like the Viking traditional electric, new electric. However, instead of using a PS40 switch to operate as the low air alarm, we use the Flex PC controller here to pick up on that loss of vacuum pressure. So to trip the system, we're going to use the smoke detector on the top. That'll be our detection device. That'll send a signal to the VFR 400. And then we'll use the trip test connection to release vacuum pressure. And that loss of vacuum pressure will be picked up by the Flex PC controller, which will create the second alarm. And then the VFR 400 will open the normally closed solenoid, which will release the prime water pressure in the valve and allow water to enter the system piping and head to the fire sprinklers. So let's go ahead and trip the system here. We use this magnet up here on the detector. You'll see that we have our first alarm signal here on the VFR 400. Now we'll have a loss of vacuum pressure using the trip test connection. And at first we'll hear the vacuum pump kick on to try to keep up with the vacuum pressure, and then it won't be able to, so then we'll have the system trip and we'll have water enter the system piping. So with water in the system piping, we'll go ahead and secure the water supply valve. With the water supply valve in the closed position, we'll then take a look at our drains. We have 4 drains that we need to open, and all 4 drains have a fluorescent yellow tag on the drains themselves. So we'll start with the system main drain. We'll get the outlet chamber drain, the alarm line drain, and we'll partially close the flow test connection located in the back of the system. Now with the water pressure draining out of the system, we'll have to reset it. So what we'll do is, this is going to be our prime water gauge here, and we have our prime line still in the open position. So by simply hitting the reset button in the VFR 400, we'll take the detection that activated and we'll reset the detection. The VFR 400 will then close the normally closed solenoid, which is now powered in the open position because of the alarm, and we'll see our prime water pressure reestablish. So we'll go ahead and hit that reset button. As the panel goes through the reset procedure, we'll see the prime water pressure build. We still have two things occurring to create a supervisory signal. One is the valve is in a closed position, and the other is the fact that we have a loss of vacuum pressure, and that's our second alarm condition. So you see we have red and yellow lights still illuminated in the VFR 400. So at this point, with the water drained out of the system, we'll go ahead and repair whatever occurred in the field. So in this case, we're simply going to close the trip test connection. And then we have our drains in the cabinet here to work with. So the system main drain will close. We'll close our outlet chamber drain. We'll close our alarm drain. And we'll leave our flow test connection partially open for when we restore the water supply to the riser. So now, because the system is activated, our FireFlex PC controller here will have an asterisk located in the top right corner of the screen, and that asterisk tells us that the system has tripped. Now whenever that asterisk is on the screen, the only way the vacuum pump will run is if the butterfly valve here remains in the closed position. So with the valve in the closed position, we'll go ahead and push in on the button on the left side of the controller to reset it. It'll take a few seconds, and we'll hear the vacuum pump kick on. That asterisk will go away, and it'll be replaced with a plus sign, and that plus sign will tell us that the vacuum pump is currently running. So we'll go ahead and push this. We have our vacuum pump in operation. Our vacuum pump cuts out. Now with the vacuum pump cut out, the only thing that we have left to do to restore this particular system is to open our city control valve. Now on the back here we have that flow test connection partially open. So we're going to go ahead and get a couple turns on the butterfly valve here to get water flowing. And then we're going to take this flow test connection in the back and we'll slowly close it and bring up our water supply pressure. And then we'll open the butterfly valve or the system control valve the rest of the way. With the valve in the fully open position, we'll reset our VFR 400 at this point, and our panel should be clear. Give it a second to process, and with no other signals in the VFR 400, we can go ahead and close the cabinet here. And at that point, we are in good shape. The system is fully restored.